Hello, and welcome to The Artist Pivot, a weekly conversation with artists about their current pivot, past pivots, and every pivot in between. I am your host, Ayana Major Bay, an actress who wants to educate, empower, and celebrate artists so they have no option but to thrive. On this Season 1 finale episode, I am joined by the Real Housewives of After Midnight 3.0, which include Brenda Braxton, Leandra Ellis-Gaston, Asha-Brownie Gordon, Krystal Mackie, Iman Ayana Barnes, and Bria Williams. I had the pleasure of working with these beautiful ladies in the show After Midnight on the Norwegian Escape. So here is a little bit about each one. Miss Brenda Braxton is an author, singer, dancer, Tony-nominated actress, and native New Yorker. She originated the role of Brenda in Smokey Joe's Cafe and did double duty for some time running B Braxton's A Grooming Salon for Gentlemen while in Chicago on Broadway. Mrs. Leandra Ellis-Gaston is an actress who hails from Columbia, South Carolina, and now resides in New York City with her husband. She has toured with Beautiful, the Carole King Musical, and made her Broadway debut last year in Tina, the Tina Turner Musical. Miss Asha-Brownie Gordon is a singer, actress, and occasional waitress barista who is originally from Conyers, Georgia. She has worked at theme parks, on cruise ships, and in regional theater for the last decade. Miss Krystal Mackie is Brooklyn born and bred and is a dancer, singer, and teaching artist. She is an alumni of LaGuardia High School and received her BFA from University of North Carolina School of the Arts. She made her off-Broadway debut in This Ain't No Disco and is currently in the first national tour of Hamilton. Miss Iman Ayana Barnes is a performing artist rooted in dance and fitness. Starting in concert dance, she eventually crossed into the world of musical theater, doing productions of After Midnight, Oklahoma, and The Music Man. Dancing has always been her outlet of expression, joy, and fulfillment, and finding these emotions in any performance opportunity is one of her main goals. She has now also started her own YouTube fitness channel. Miss Bria Williams is a dancer who hails from Baltimore, Maryland. She made her Broadway debut in Mean Girls and was the Principal Duvall understudy. She also has a passion for interior design and has been finding ways to use those skills as well. We discuss sisterhood, taking off the mask, and discovering who we really are when everything is stripped away. Here's our conversation. Okay, so y'all, this is a very, very special episode of the Artist Pivot podcast. Now, I think all of my guests are special and I love them all, but this episode right here, I had to call together the ladies of After Midnight. Excuse me. Let me say this actually. The Real Housewives of After Midnight 3.0. These women, exactly. Yep. These women I love so much, so much. I consider them my sorority sisters because we spent 7 months together doing a show called After Midnight, living on the ship, and just being us. So I'm going to introduce them to you right now. So first up, I have Miss Asha-Brownie Gordon. Hey, girl.
Hello, hey.
And then I have Miss Krystal Mackie.
Hey.
Then I have Miss Bria Williams.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
And then I have Iman Ayana Barnes.
Hello, hello.
Then I have Miss Leandra Ellis-Gaston.
Hey, y'all.
And last, but most certainly not least, Miss Brenda Braxton.
How y'all doing? Oh, goodness.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, it is so lovely to have you all on. I'm so excited. And I know we are actually missing one member of our crew, Miss Shari Williams. Shout out to Shari. Unfortunately, she couldn't join us today. But Shari, when you listen to this, honey, we are thinking about you and we love you. And I'm just happy to have gathered the rest of us because these are some crazy times, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So let's see, where do we start? I'm gonna just pick someone random. Let's see. I'm gonna start with Krystal. How have you been doing, my dear?
You
didn't see that coming, did you?
Definitely did not. I've been okay, as much as okay as I possibly can be during these times. It's been wild. No one saw this coming.
Right.
So I've just been trying to, get adjusted to this new norm. Being home with my family is great, but also crazy at times.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't been home for this long in a very long time. So just to be able to spend time with them and, spend a month with my dad and then a month with my grandfather and, see my
Mm-hmm.
sisters all the time. It's been great. We have a new family member added to the fam. So that's been great being a new auntie and a
Oh,
new
Yes.
joy of life.
Yeah.
Um, she's so cute and literally just brings sunshine and happiness to my life right now, which is definitely needed.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I've been living through her because
Yeah.
everything else is wild. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Understood. Understood. So we'll get into that a little bit of. I'm going to actually ask each of you what you were doing before COVID kind of, threw this monkey wrench into our lives. But I'm going to go around and just kind of see how everybody else is doing today. So, Krystal, I will get right back to you. So next, I'm going to do Bria, Miss Bria Williams. How are you doing, my dear?
Hey, I am good. I am home, just like Krystal in the DMV. And it's been really great to just have this time with my family. Like, I haven't been home this long since college, and I graduated back in 2015. So it's been great to just like see my parents and see my grandparents, see my aunts, uncles. Yeah, and just kind of sit tight and breathe. I'm having a really good time. I'm cool with it.
Mm-hmm. Understood. Understood. So thank you, Bria. Next, let's go with Miss Asha-Brownie Gordon. How are you doing, hun?
hey, I'm existing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like being home is nice and crazy simultaneously. My dad's getting up there in the age, so I'm glad that I'm home to help out. And then of course my nephew, I am really glad. I haven't really gotten to hang out with him in 5 years, and he's 5 years old now. Like I was on a ship when he was born, and now I'm actually like hanging out with him at least once, twice a week, and it's just so nice getting to know him. Like we're buddies, and that's like one of the best things. And also being home to see my friends and my closest friends like throughout my entire life. That's really awesome too. But it's a roller coaster, you know? You start out one day feeling really optimistic and then something happens because it's 2020 and not so much.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we all agree with that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Asha.
Mhm.
And next, let's see. I'm gonna go with Miss Brenda Braxton.
Well, I am taking it one nanosecond at a time. It's interesting because I have a really, really small family, and my mom is in New York here with me, but she's up in Washington Heights. So I just been trying to get up there as much as I can. I can't really be in her apartment with her, but we do try to take walks. My only other family is in Sacramento, so I haven't been able to, of course, get out there. But, just taking it one day at a time, trying to stay busy, trying to stay spiritually grounded and keep in touch with as many people as you can, which is so fabulous to be able to do things like this. And I am definitely
Mhm.
zoomed out, but it's nice to have Zoom so you can see folks. But I do appreciate, Ayana, that we don't have to see each other right now at this moment of the day. But
Right.
and I love you ladies. I always look at our picture and go, okay, that was the thing right there. I wanted to say a different word,
Mm.
but that,
Mhm.
that was a magical time on Norwegian Escape. So thank you for bringing us together.
It was, and you're welcome. You're so welcome. It was such a magical time, Brenda. Like,
Mhm.
looking at those pictures, you're just like, "Oh, yeah, that was magic."
Yeah,
Like,
Mhm.
that
absolutely.
was literal magic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you for sharing, Brenda. And yes, I'm tired of Zoom as well, and also, I didn't wanna have to be camera ready, so that's why this podcast is just audio.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank
Because
Yeah,
you.
I
thank
don't
you.
wanna do it. Oh, you're welcome. You are all very welcome.
I love it.
Yeah. Actually, well, since you want to speak up, Miss Leandra Ellis-Gaston, you're up next. How are you doing, hun?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be in the room with these women. No, life has been a journey over these last few months. It's been a lot of time with my husband, and that has been amazing, obviously. And I got a new puppy. So,
What?
Yeah.
yes, his name is Otis, and he is a ball of energy. Yes, I named him an old dog name on purpose, people. We need to bring back the good names, okay? But his name is Otis. Well, it's crazy. We were gonna get like a little tan dog, and we're gonna name him Dusty. And then we fell in love with this black dog. And Kyle was like, "You can't name no black dog Dusty." And I was like, "You are so right." And so then we decided on the name Otis. But life has been it has been a crazy journey these last few months. A lot of discovery, but all good things. Like in a sea of trouble or in a time of famine like this, I'm grateful for the moments like you said, like Krystal said with the family, Bria with the family. Um it brings me back to a good center for the
Mm-hmm.
next level of life. So yeah, I'm doing great.
Mm-hmm. Good, 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 good. And you have a new puppy. Ooh,
A new
okay.
baby.
And now I would like to turn to Miss Iman Ayana Barnes. How are you doing, my dear?
Hello, I am doing okay. It like everybody said, same sentiment. It's been such a roller coaster and such a whirlwind of emotions. And some days you're like, yes, you're optimistic and you're like ready to hit it hard. And then the next day you're like, girl, where is the ice cream and the wine and the margaritas?
Speak
Or
your
Where's
mind.
my
Speak your
ice cream,
you
mind.
wine, and margarita?
Yes.
and just finding a balance of good and not so great, and let me take some time to step back and reflect and visit family when it's safe to and when you just need to zoom. I think it's just like, for me, I've just tried to find balance because we don't know what's happening, we don't know where we're going, like none of that is set in stone. You're kind of planning for the future, but also like having three plans because you're like, well, if this doesn't happen, then what are the other things I can do? So I think
Mm-hmm.
the past 7 months have kind of just been like finding balance in a crazy life as much as possible.
Right, right. That makes sense. I mean, that's all our sentiment, finding that balance. And I'm glad you brought up that point of like, oh, I'm going to have plans for the future, but I'm going to have three of them because I don't actually know
Hmm.
what's going to happen.
Mm.
Oh my God, it is so crazy. Like, you think one thing and you're like, oh, well, I mean, think about it. We were all like, yeah, it'll be like 2 months and we'll just be back and stuff.
Mhm.
And here
Uh-huh.
we are 7 months later. So, what do we
Hmm.
do? So just
Right.
planning.
Just right. Just planning. That makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you for that. And so I would ask each of you ladies, I know that everybody was doing things before COVID hit. So I know Krystal, you were on the Hamilton tour, and Bria, you were in Mean Girls, and
Hmm.
Iman, you were dancing and personal training, and Leandra, you were in Tina on Broadway, and Asha was on a ship, and I know Brenda, you were about to get back on a ship, and it was just everybody had all of these plans, and so I want to ask each of you. COVID has forced us to shift. And so, was there a time in your life before this that you chose to shift because we are now forced to, but you chose to shift because you knew that it was something you had to do? Like things would not turn out well if I didn't shift my mindset or shift the way I took care of myself or just shifted, I'm not going to audition for these people no more because I don't want to work with them, you know? um,
That real
yeah.
talk.
Every,
Yeah. Whew, that part.
um, yeah, so I will start with anybody want to volunteer for us, or I can just pick people.
I kind of like being caught off guard.
Okay, oh, you caught off guard? Great. Asha,
Well,
the remaining of the interview. Okay, go ahead.
Ayana, I
Yes.
think my major shift was to join the Norwegian Escape. That was one of my major
Mm.
shifts. I never thought that I would go on a cruise ship for 8 9 months, And
Mm-hmm.
so that was a major shift for me. I'm glad I did it, but that was a major shift. But that was still a kind of a voluntary shift. This COVID, pandemic thing is crazy. It's none of us saw this coming, and we
Mm.
were not prepared for it, whether it was financially, mentally, spiritually, physically. We just were
Mm-hmm.
not prepared for it. So that was my major shift in, I would say, like the last 5, 6, 7 years. So
Right.
yeah.
I
Right.
would love to piggyback off of Brenda because that actually was a major shift for me as well. Because before anything musical theater, I just worked with like small concert dance companies, and
Mhm.
I was doing shows at immersive theater and training and sleeping for 4 hours. And I was just like, I need to do something different. I want to still be performing, but I need to get out of the city because I'm going to scream if I don't. So I took the shift job, and that was like a time for me to really be like, are you going to miss out on anything? Do you need this time? Do you need this space? And I just decided to do it. And I'm so glad I did. But that was a crazy period in my life, which what 5 years ago about.
Wow.
Mm. Mm. Wow. Yes. Anybody else off of that? Because I can actually chime in on that as well. I never thought I was going to be doing a cruise ship. Never thought. I was like, a cruise ship? What? What?
Mhm.
No,
Same.
no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, literally. I was like, mm-mm.
Right. And then I did, and then I met you wonderful ladies. So there's that,
Right.
Yeah.
like,
Right. Yeah.
Honestly, I
yeah.
Now,
miss it.
I'm the one that actually always wanted to be on a cruise ship. Yeah.
Right.
Like, I actually remember who was it? I think it was actually Brenda that once said she was like, "You a special kind of black girl wanting to get on this ship."
Wow.
Yeah.
And just being flying by the seat of your pants. And that's actually been like pivoting for me has been the story of my life. Like I'm
Mhm.
always pivoting. Like one second I'm
Mm.
working at a theme park like with Dolly Parton and stuff, and then the next second I'm like, a children's character. And then I was like, okay, cruise ships. And then after that I was like, oh, I'm going to go to the other side of the country and just do Avenue Q. So like shifting is kind of always the thing. And then when I'm not performing, I'm like, I'll wait tables. I'll sling
Mhm.
coffee.
Mhm.
I'll,
Mhm.
pick up trash.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh yeah, Asha, that sounds like you.
I picked up trash once, but I don't think that's what you're speaking about.
Oh gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Y'all are hilarious.
Hilarious.
Oh, hilarious. And I miss it. I miss y'all so
The
much.
Me
comedy.
too.
The comedy. Y'all, the comedy is just you can't write half of the things that happen between us.
Yeah.
You can't write it.
Oh my
At
god.
all. At all. It's crazy. You talk about like pivot shifts, and I feel like I can relate to everybody on the cruise ship. That was such a huge adjustment. When I got on the ship, I had this one idea or concept about what kind of performer I wanted to be or what kind of
Mm.
artist I had to be to make it.
Mm.
And it was a lot of it had to do with just like you need to sing your face off. Then you get into a show at after midnight and you're working with dancers all the time, and you're like, well, you should probably learn how to do that. You know,
Mhm.
it's like you
Mhm.
should probably learn how to do a little sashay pas de bourrée across the floor, and then dance. You know what I mean?
Come on, terminology.
Come on.
Yes.
I'm just saying I learned that on 3.0 After Midnight Girls. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mhm.
But anyways, I just think that was a big pivot. I mean, that pivot changed my career.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so that would have to be a time I can remember like that was a pivot before quarantine.
Right. Right. And going off of that, that pivot was big and changed your career because you've now been dance captain twice.
Yeah.
What if you
Yes.
didn't
That's
take
right.
that precedent when we were on the ship to learn it? Like, sis, you out here being whole dance captains for Broadway shows.
It's insane.
Yes.
It's insane. It is a lesson that anything you have planned, the journey for what that is so much better than your plan. Um,
Mhm.
it's crazy. Like, I don't even know how it happens. Like, I really can't explain it. But go I don't know. Like we did after midnight, and I was taking class obviously with Bria and Krystal down in the little that place with the mirror. What's that place with the mirror? What's
Crew
The,
bar.
the crew bar.
Crew
The crew
bar.
bar.
Oh yeah.
So it's crazy. It's like you find yourself being like, I want to do scrunch. Like I can do a scrunch. And so it started with me wanting to do a scrunch, me wanting to dance with everybody in the crew bar, me wanting to be fit. It's like Iman and Eric over there always on a pull-up bar. And I'm like, the chicks can't do a push-up, you know? So it changed. Like I was eager to want to do it. Then you work with Brenda, who's like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna sing you down and give you leg at 60 and be like,
Yep.
you know, I look better than you. And all I use is Vaseline, you know, to keep my skin together. So it's like,
Wait, is that real?
that's
Yeah.
real.
Wait, you only use Vaseline?
Yeah.
Man, I need to throw my cocoa butter out.
Coconut is good
Brenda only
too, but
uses
I've just
Vaseline.
always used Vaseline.
Mm.
Mhm.
Y'all, that skin is
Okay.
luminous. Okay, I'm sorry.
Right?
Luminous.
It is luminous.
No,
It's
but
luminous.
it's quite like it's luminous. But when you're around that type of energy, for as long as we were around each other, it changed me and it made me like want to go into the room being like, I got something different. I can do those steps because I got rhythm. I can give you a little bit of technique, not too much, but a little bit. And then I can sing you under the grave. And
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
all those things kind of put me in a good place to start swinging and being a dance captain. And I know that wouldn't have happened without After Midnight.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some real talk though. Yeah, After Midnight 3.0, that did like I mean, like I said, I was pivoting everywhere, but that was my first all black musical. That's what made it hugely different for me. That was the biggest pivot for me
Mhm.
for it. Because I looked around and I was like, wait, you can be black in all these different ways and not just be that one black person that they like are contracted to put in there. Ooh,
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
nice.
Mhm.
It was like one inspiration after another, just looking around a room.
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
and for me, like I learned so much being on the ship. I never knew singing was in my path at all. And come to find out, I was understudying, Lee in singing all those songs, and I was like, "You really want me to do this? I don't know." And I just remember like just being surrounded by all of y'all and Daryl and everyone else on the ship, and just you guys really helped me find my voice, and which led me to audition for a lot of other musical theater shows. Like Iman, I was doing a bunch of concert dance before the cruise ship. Never knew I was going to end up on anybody's cruise,
Mhm.
doing the do. But, it really changed, what I thought was going to be the pathway for me after graduating college.
Yeah.
And then, you know, years later, we're here, but it's I just I never knew I could sing. And then I had to sing in front of a microphone in front of the cast, and I was like shaking, and I was like, I don't know if I could do this. And then towards the end of the ship, singing background in Daryl's show,
Mhm.
it was just so like mind blowing, and it changed the idea of what I thought my career was going to be after graduating college. So very grateful for 3.0 because probably wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for y'all. So
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm. So all of us, myself included, have to thank After Midnight 3.0 for, where we were at prior to COVID. Um, the
Yeah.
paths that our careers have taken, because I ditto every single statement that you ladies have said. Like, Asha, I literally remember looking around and going, God, I love these women. And
Mm.
like this, they empower me and inspire me. And even if I don't tell them on a daily, just looking at them and being in their presence, and there was a point that I was like, oh, I wish I had this like Asha, or I wish I had this like Leandra, or I wish I had this like Krystal. And I remember getting off the ship and like going through each woman and going, no, Ayana, you already possess all of these things you wish you had that they possess. This was a time for it to show you that you
Yes.
possessed all of
Yeah.
these things.
Yeah.
I think
you
one of the
know?
things that I
Yeah.
really liked about 3.0 was the camaraderie. I was
Yeah.
going through some photos the other day, and I don't know if y'all remember this, but Leandra was washing, I think, Krystal's hair in the shower in the dressing room.
Oh my God.
I did not
Yes.
see that.
Yes. Yes.
I
In the
found that
dressing room.
picture, yes, and it just warmed my heart to see the camaraderie that took place with 3.0. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
yes, it was great for our careers, but to have all of these women, for one thing, getting along, and then the whole company pretty much getting along, even
Mhm.
with the little problems here and there, everyone still respected each other and had
Mhm.
kind of love that didn't have anything to do with our talents. It just had to do with the fact that
Mm.
we respected
Mm.
each other and we had our own love for one another.
Mhm. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think about that a lot. So I think about that a lot because when I joined the cast, I was definitely reluctant to making friends just because I felt like I was going there to do a job and I wanted to go home, quite frankly. And then the way like the relationships with each and every one of you blossomed, like I search for that in everything now. And sadly, I just have
Mm.
not found it. And I think that it's safe to say what we had was very beautiful. It was special.
Yep.
And I
Oh
think that it
yes.
might
Mhm.
be a once in a lifetime thing because I've never felt just like a true
Mm.
sisterhood. And
Mhm.
I think about you all every day, and I'm so grateful for you all. And I'm also so grateful that you all like forced me out of my little shell. I don't know why I was acting like that, but I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for you ladies.
Ugh, me too.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny to think
Same.
about you talking about a shell, Bria.
Right. Bria in a shell? What are you talking
I mean,
about?
the things I
She
remember,
was in
like
a
she.
shell. She was in a shell and she came out of it.
She
Hmm.
came
Like
out of it?
I mean,
She came out
Shell
of
in
it.
like what I'm realizing about myself, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's like I am very like I'm an introvert and I'm antisocial. Like I'm not
Mhm.
a big like out there kind of person unless it's people who I love and trust. And I wasn't there yet. And so when I walked in, I very much had that attitude. And I also didn't feel like I needed to open up. I was like, I just need to hit the step. I've done this show twice now. I just want to get paid and go home. And then it became so much more than that. So I'm
I
grateful.
think it
Mhm.
also just makes the experience more enjoyable that way. Like, because yes, it is
Hmm.
a job and we're here to do our job and we're all going to do our job well, but we're living with each other.
Right.
Mhm.
So to
Hmm.
just create that sense of like community and family is really nice because like all you guys said, it doesn't happen all the time. And a lot of times it is hard, especially with a bunch of women. Like it can get really
Yeah,
bad. And like Renee said, maybe there were little things that happened here and there, but because we still had respect for each other, it went smoothly and it was great.
And those little things were a lot like it was just so family, man. Like it
Yeah,
was nothing you couldn't get over.
Right.
Because I'm
exactly.
like, we gonna have a fight today? Okay. And
right,
then the next day you realize you're like, you know what? I was a little over dramatic.
right.
I was too much.
Right. You're like, actually, I checked myself and like
Right,
we're good.
Hmm.
Like
Right.
I didn't even mean it like that. So it's
right.
Right.
fine.
I'm gonna lay you out real quick, then I'm gonna see you in a couple hours on the beach. All right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, right. That's exactly
Where you
it.
going to get that Wi-Fi? I'm coming.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. Right.
That's funny. That's comedy.
Oh
That
my gosh. I remember,
Right,
oh
that's
God, so
that's
many good
right.
so
times on the
true.
beach together.
So much. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. And Barefoot
Mhm.
Buddha,
Yes.
was that the
Yes, Barefoot
place?
Buddha.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Good times.
I was out there trying to look like Brenda, Ayana, Lee, trying to get y'all chocolate.
Mm.
Okay.
I remember one time Ayana came out of the water looking like dark, dark chocolate, and everybody went, hmm.
My friend, got the good stuff.
Yes.
Got the
Oh
good
wow.
stuff.
Mm.
I love it. I
Marquita used to
love
be
it.
Did
mad
we
we was
ever think we
tanning.
would really be missing the ship? Because so much of the
Yes,
time we
No.
also were like,
No.
okay, if you don't get me off of this ship, I'm gonna
Okay.
lower my
Right.
foot off. But
Oh
Exactly.
my
it was
God.
still such it was an experience that you look back on, and now it's like, wow, I should have taken more
Hmm.
of a moment to be thankful for it.
Mm, yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
There was a lot to be thankful for, but y'all, as somebody who just kept going back over and over and over again, it's nice not
Yeah.
being on the ship. It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Right. That makes sense. That makes so much sense, Asha. But it is I'm going to say this cuz I'm going to move on to another topic. But I will
Mhm.
wrap this up with basically like, yes, Brenda, you're absolutely right. I can say for myself that I did not appreciate it fully when I was on the ship, but that
Mhm.
it's I what I appreciate is this friendship and camaraderie and sisterhood that we have that came out of this cast of After Midnight and that we'll always have. And like Bria said, like, girl, I might have to lay you out. But then, okay, where are we going to get dinner? Because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Okay.
But it
Okay.
also makes
So
you realize that when you're now, it makes you take more stock of everything you do now too, because you
yes.
do
Yeah.
realize, oh, I should have paid more attention to that. So now when I go into this next situation, I'm going to take the time to pay more attention and to get more out of it, and to just to be more observant of where I am and how I feel
Mhm.
moving
Mhm.
Mhm.
forward.
Mhm. That makes sense. That makes sense. And that's a perfect segue actually, in terms of moving forward. Has anybody been able to, continue their creative spark in this time? I know that everybody is at varying spaces where some are like, nah, girl, I'm just sitting on the couch. Or like, I know Iman, you started a YouTube channel. So I know that people are at
Mhm.
varying stages of their creativity right now in 2020 and keeping it going, and pivoting, literally pivoting in 2020 and going, okay, what can I do? The stage is not an option now. What can I do? So actually, I'm going to start with Iman and I'm going to have you talk about, what you are doing right now.
Yes.
Yeah. So, personal training and group fitness has always been like my, I guess, side job. And when we first started quarantine, I was just like, well, I can't teach class. Let me just like, I don't know, my friends want to do something still. Let me post on Instagram and like do short classes. And then IGTV was like, you have a 15-minute limit. And I was like, okay, I need longer. So that's kind of how the YouTube channel started. I just wanted to give people a free way to keep moving and stay positive. And I know for me, like, the more I kind of stay busy, the less I think too deeply about what's going on. And also, just like a nice sweat is really good to just kind of get you moving during the day. Um, so yeah, with that, I guess I just continued and didn't stop. And then maybe like 2 months ago, I was like, I'm doing the YouTube, lane, and it's been fun. It's really nice to just create weekly and be able to share that and get feedback on like what people like and don't like. But yeah, I've just I don't know. I mean, to keep busy and to stay creative, that's been a way, especially since we can't be on stage right now. And I look forward to continuing it and hopefully, the audience is still there for it. But it kind of just started because I needed more time than 15 minutes, you know?
hmm
And it's been fun. It's been really fun. So I'm looking forward to moving forward with it, especially since we don't know when we're going to be back on stage. And it's just another way to connect with people.
And it goes off, y'all. Her workout is top notch.
Oh, thank you.
It is.
It is.
And they're so short. So like, and that's the other thing. It's just
I'd be mad.
because it's a weird time where like we have a lot of free time. we
Bria.
they are
Bria just say
short.
amen.
How long are they?
Listen, you had 15 minutes. That's what I feel like. You had 15 minutes. Just get a little pump in, a little ab, a little sweat, a little stretch, and then you're done.
Oh, it's only
Like it's
15
not a
minutes?
whole
Okay.
Yeah.
hour.
It's
Oh yeah,
Girl,
girl, they're
you be like,
10 to 20 minutes.
again. And she never, she don't be counting. I'm like, are we doing 8:15? I need to know before
Tell
we
it, Bria.
start so I can
Before we
mentally
go
prepare.
live.
Tell
Listen,
it, Bria.
No,
all
you know,
trainers lie, okay?
right.
This is what we do. We
Iman
see
is
your
worse than
face and we're
anybody.
like, you guys can go another 10 seconds, you'll be fine. And that's kind of what we do. That's
No,
it. There's
And
no
I
Y'all
real
do
know
it.
numbers.
this.
We just keep
I
Y'all
do
know
moving.
it.
this.
you're worse than anybody, Iman. Because you'll be
Right. You
like,
know working out with Iman. It's gonna make you hurt.
Iman be like,
Yes.
okay, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. Okay, I think you got five more, five more, five
Five
more.
more, five
Okay,
more.
I think you
I
got
love the
five
way
more
she
after
said that
that.
too. She's
Five
like,
more after
five
that.
more
Right.
and
But
five more.
Here's the thing, you guys are all used to it because you've all been in dance class when the teacher says one more time, and one more
Right,
time means you have another half an hour.
Yes, it
right,
does.
So
right.
You are
oh my
right. You
gosh.
are right, Iman. That's so fair. But yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you. And thank you guys for all like putting up with my workouts and things. Like I love to try things and I'm glad you guys were here for it. So thanks for my start into that.
Yeah, the results
Nice.
are
Of
there, so
course.
I'm gonna
Of
do
course.
it.
You gonna do it, Bria?
Yeah, the results are there. I see the results. So I'm like, I know I'm gonna be mad, but I'm gonna do it because I like what I feel like afterwards. I like what I see. So I'm
Mm,
gonna do it.
that's what we want. We want the results. We want to feel good. And that's the thing. It's just like, especially in this quarantine time, do what makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like workout is not a punishment. It's just to make you feel good. And if 10 minutes makes you feel good, then do the 10 minutes.
I think
Mm-hmm.
you need a 3-minute senior citizen.
I'll work on creating a 3 minute for you, Brenda,
Thank you.
personally.
Thank you.
I've been in a workout class with Miss Brenda. She's fine.
I
Well,
know.
I used to be
Brenda
fine.
be acting like she's not there and she's there.
I used to be fine. This pandemic, I've been sitting on my sofa a lot.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Understood. Well, actually, Miss Brenda, okay, wait. Which direction do I want to go in? I have two people to talk to. Okay, so Krystal, let me go with Krystal first, actually.
Uh-oh.
You were going to get your Pilates certification this year, weren't you?
Yes. It was something I've actually been thinking about for some time, and then because life was, crazy and hectic, which, I miss.
Mm-hmm.
But because of, it was that I didn't have time to, or I would always just say, "Oh, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later." And now because we have nothing but time, um
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, why not? Why not just dive into it, do it? It is on the pricier side, but I think it's something that I'm interested in. It's good to have. It's something that I can use even when the world does open back up. And yeah, so I'm looking into two different ones as of right now. But both have programs starting in January, so I will be starting that in January.
Yay.
Yay!
Yes.
Congrats.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Yes. Okay, so
Get
now I
your
gotta get
cert.
Iman's workouts, and now I gotta go to class with Krystal and Pilates. Great.
Yeah, girl, you gonna
Yes.
put that on YouTube?
I don't know yet. I don't know how I'm nervous about the whole YouTube thing. Hats off to everyone that does it, Iman. Honestly, the whole editing that it stresses me out. But um, it's easier than you think. It,
Yeah.
it's it's work, but it's easier than you think. So when you're ready, trust me, you just fall into it. You fall into it, and YouTube University, girl, you learn as you go along, and that's really what I'm doing. I'm learning as Right. I go along.
I'm
So
still
yeah,
Mhm.
to edit
maybe
the audition.
YouTube. What happened?
My agent. I said I'm still struggling to figure out how to edit my audition tapes to send to my agent.
I'm weak.
Like, no way.
Okay. But no, yeah, maybe YouTube down the line. I know everyone is zoomed out, so we'll see how we feel come like the end of January, February. But yeah, so stay tuned for that.
Yes.
Cool.
Yay! Pilates.
Cool, cool.
And now I want to circle back to Miss Brenda, who
Yeah.
was talking about sitting on her couch. But
Mm.
you've been sitting on your couch looking real pretty because you are out here hosting a show called Stars in the House.
Come
Okay.
on.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That's Brodesky show, okay?
Okay. You stepped in. You stepped in.
Well, that kind of fell in my lap because I was a guest of his once, and then he was like, "I need you to
Mhm.
be back on." I was like, "Okay." So I went back
Mhm.
on, and then he was like, "I need you to host for Monday," and I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay." And then he was like, "Okay, I need you to do 2 months." I was like, "All right, wait a minute now." I found that I really enjoyed it. The only challenge was I was doing everything myself. Bria and Iman talk about that whole editing and all that. But
Mhm.
I'm getting better
Mhm.
at that. Thank God for iMovie. I'm getting better at
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
movie is wonderful. Um,
Yes.
so I kind of feel like, okay, I might try and do a spin-off of my own, once
Hmm.
I finish with Seth to try and do my own Act Two Now What spin-off. So that's what I'm trying to work on now. So I might be calling you, Iman and Bria, for this YouTube
Yes.
because, yeah, YouTube is like crazy to me. So,
Hmm.
but that, yeah. But see, that's still sitting
Hmm.
on your sofa, and you only
Yeah.
have to press from the waist up. See,
Right.
and put a
Yeah.
lash on. So see, I've been just sitting there.
A
A
lip
lip,
and
a
a
lash, and a
lash.
Honey, a
line.
lip
That's
line and
it.
lash.
That's all you need.
Oh.
So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And Miss Leandra, I know that you are now a part of something called Bold. Would you like to give me a little explanation?
Yeah, so I am a part of an organization called I Am a Bold Woman, which is a organization that builds up Black women in the performing arts for the restoration of culture. Um,
Ooh.
it has been those are the fancy words. It really just has been inspiring, and how can we help our Black women in this time? It's an organization that focuses on Black women for Black women by Black women. um it's crazy. There's a time I found that was so important to me, and I had no idea, that. But I think I should have known, because I've did After Midnight, and I ended up doing, Beautiful with Black women. So there's been so many of those little things where I just have formed a passion for Black women and how they actually can change the world,
Mhm.
um I think we saw that in the election, and we see that every day.
Yeah.
I So yeah, I work primarily with the organization on we're fundraising right now. So our goal is $10,000, and I work on healing of the body, and
Mhm.
how Black women should go to therapy, and how we should seek help for, making sure
Mhm.
that we are keeping ourselves together, since we always seem to have to keep the world together.
Mm.
Right.
Mhm.
All right. Yes.
That's
Yes.
some
Well,
true
thank you.
talk.
Thank you. That's true talk. We'll get into that actually in a second. Um, and Miss Bria, I know that you were on Mean Girls on Broadway, but you were also working on a side project, just your interior design business, correct? Are you still working on that right now, or you kind of put that on the shelf?
Actually, I am still doing that. I've had one client though, during this, well, actually two, during this pandemic. So I did a virtual, staging with a client in Florida, and then I did my best friend's apartment here in Washington, D.C. I'm trying to, force my mom to allow me to do her hair studio. So we'll see what happens with that. But also, my brother and I are going into an investment property together, and that's really exciting. And I'm doing all of the design and everything for that. So I am, while I want more clients, I'm just kind of just ramping up my energy to really like focus on that and really get into the nitty gritty of different types of projects with the house, and expand my clientele because I've been doing a lot of apartments and theaters, not theaters, but theater dressing rooms. So I'm excited to like finally transition into homes because that's what I've always wanted to do. So yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, nice.
Come
Yeah.
on.
I'm moving
Yeah.
again, Bria, so you got to come back to the city to help a sister out.
Yes.
Wait, when? When?
When are you moving?
In the new year. So,
Yeah.
we gotta undo this. Bria did my whole apartment, y'all. So no sis is good.
She did. It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous, yeah.
I've learned a lot though since then, so it'll be much better.
And then Asha, I know
Hmm.
that you said you are at home and you are, loving on your nephew, loving on your family. Um, but you wanted me to shout out your friend who's actually giving voiceover classes.
Oh,
So
voice
tell
lesson
me a little
classes.
excuse
Yes.
me, voice lesson, my bad. Your friend who's giving voice lesson classes.
Yeah. Like, not to be a downer, but like for me, so the quarantine was cool at first, and then my pivot was just going back to work at the restaurant, which I like because it keeps me moving and it's fun and also like hard. It just, it keeps me in a hustling mode, which I kind of like. But when it comes to artistic stuff, it's kind of been difficult for me to
Mhm.
focus on artistry just because it makes me feel sad. Is anybody else
Mhm.
Mhm.
feeling that a little?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. Yeah, like it's just sometimes like I'll sing a little to myself and I'll be like, wow, I miss that feeling. And
Mm.
it also
Mhm.
with it being so unknown. But then my girl, Lenora Green is her name. I went to college with this girl. This girl has a voice that I like. It's just she's a classical singer, soprano, beautiful, and she's doing some really inexpensive voice lessons. So if anybody wants to tone up of it, she has her own her own situation going on where it's $45 per lesson or $160 for a month, and her email is Green Room Studios LLC. And it's spelled like green, like the color, Room Studios LLC at gmail.com. If you're interested, or if anyone's interested that's listening, wants some like cute, cheap lessons from somebody who's very qualified. She's a doctor. Um, I want to shout her out because she is really like somebody that I'm like, oh, that's something that I can at least give to the world to promote some more artistry. But for me, yeah, waiting the tables, like I'm just kind of trying to hustle, hustle, hustle until life kind of. That's how I've always, worked. I'm like, okay, I'll let life just guide me back to whatever. And actually, I just got a text message from a friend asking me if I wanted to submit for Oda May and Ghost. So I don't know.
Ooh. Okay.
So we like who knows what might happen, but right now it's all about that hustle. But that's my friend. Y'all can look at her if you want some voice lessons.
Yeah.
Great,
Well,
great.
thank
Thank you for sharing,
you.
Asha. I
Hmm.
will put all of her info in the show notes. So if anybody did miss that, all of the info will be in show notes about those voice lessons, as well as I'll put info about every one of these ladies in the show notes so that you can get in contact with them about all the things they're doing.
Yay.
Um, but with that, so I wanted to ask, so okay, Bria, you wrote something down that said work on your craft right now, but also be okay with the stillness of being human
Yeah.
Mhm.
and discovering yourself outside of a performer,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mm,
you
absolutely.
know? And
Oh,
this has
yeah.
forced us to really discover ourselves. And since we're all Black women here, as a Black woman
Hmm.
and outside of performing, I would like to ask each of you, how are you doing that right now? How are you discovering yourself outside of the industry? Because my next question will be, how do you hope the industry changes? Especially looking at us Black women, how do you think it changes? But first, let me ask you, are you okay with the stillness of being a human being and finding out who we are outside of being performers?
Can I answer that, Ayana?
Yes, you can.
So with this, because I never got to talk about the pivot part that you asked earlier. So it's like I think my biggest pivot for me has been losing control because I'm a control freak and I'm learning that about myself. And every uncomfortable situation that I've put myself into, it was necessary. And so I think with pivot, you have to be able to be loose and flexible and let go of control. And then back to this whole idea of being a human. I haven't really felt artistically inspired as a performer because, like, quite frankly, before all of this happened, I didn't even know if I wanted to perform anymore. So I'm just really investigating right now who is Bria, the pedestrian, the human, and I'm just forcing myself to truly listen to myself. And with listening comes following my intuition. Because I think that that's something that we run away from a lot. It's like we hear our intuition talking to us, but we're always like, yeah, but that makes me feel weird and that makes me feel out of control. So I'm just going to go with what feels
Mm.
good. So during this entire quarantine, I've just been forcing myself to sit in uncomfortable spaces and to do the exact opposite of what I would want to do because it makes me comfortable. And I think that that's important. And I have good days and I have bad days, but overall, I'm just enjoying learning myself without the noise because I think, especially in New York City, it's easy to keep busy so you don't have to listen to the silence. It's easy to run to a class, run to audition, run to work because you don't want to really deal with yourself. And that's what I appreciate about this, just the time to really just heal and listen to myself and also learn myself because I know Bria as the dancer, as the performer. I don't really know Bria as a human, and so this has been
Mm.
interesting and this has been fun. It's been hard. It's been scary, but I love her. She is complex
Amen.
and she is
Amen.
interesting and she is a scared little girl and she's a strong woman. It's beautiful. It's scary, but it's beautiful. And I encourage everybody to sit in the stillness. It's fine. We have all our lives to work, ladies. Like
Mhm.
take a year.
Mm,
Be quiet for a year. We don't have to hustle all the time. So that's
mm.
that.
Oh, come on, Bria the human.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. Preach now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anybody, and would anybody else like to add to that?
Well, it's
I mean,
interesting.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say it's interesting because I've been in the business for 46 years. So it's a little different. I don't know that I have ever um, kind of felt any other way than who I am. I don't know if it's that I just blended the two. It's the only thing I've ever known, the only thing I've ever done, the only
Mm-hmm.
the only path really that I've ever taken. So mine is just it's a little different than you guys because I think you do have a better platform and a better time now as younger women to acknowledge, oh yes, I need to sit in just being here. My experience has just been constant. I got to get up, I got to do this, I got to audition for this, I got to go there, I got to go. So, and it's only been theater. I've never done anything else. I've never thought about doing anything else other than when I did B Braxton's, the grooming parlor for gentlemen, but I was still doing Chicago on Broadway. So I was still in that mode of I'm still performing.
Mhm.
I still got to, that's the only thing I've ever known. But I will say, I will piggyback on what Bria said. I am good now sitting in the fact that that is who I am. You know what I mean? I'm no longer
Mm-hmm.
trying to prove that I'm anything other than Brenda Braxton, Lady Braxton, who is 99% of the time always on. Even when she's home by herself, she's on. And that's okay. Home crazy by herself, in the mirror thinking, okay, now that looks silly, but I'm going to post that anyway, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel okay sitting in the fact that that's who I am. So piggybacking on what Bria said, just knowing that I'm okay with whoever I am right now, and I just happen to be Brenda Braxton, Lady Braxton, whatever you want to call me, the showgirl, and I'm okay with that.
Mhm.
Mm. Yes, thank you, Brenda. Thank you. And Krystal, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna chime in and just say, just to piggyback off of both Bria and Brenda, you know, our lives were so conditioned as performers to just go, 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 go.
Mhm.
And it's like, I have a job, but what can I do after this? Like what's the like you're constantly planning. Like even when you do have a job, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
great, I'm in this,
Mm-hmm.
I'm booked, I have this, but what am I thinking of 2 years down the road? Like what's happening then? What's happening, can I do 2 gigs at a time? Like you're constantly going, 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 going,
Mhm.
going. And with this COVID that came, it kind of was like pulling a sheet from under you because it was an immediate stop. No one saw
Mhm.
it coming, no one planned for it. Um, we had no idea, and it happened so fast. And
Mm-hmm.
it forced everyone to sit and be silent and breathe. I think Bria said this earlier, like we were forced to just breathe.
Yeah.
And it it's taught me a lot as well, just being okay with being still.
Mhm.
Being on the road, we're constantly like, you finish the show, great, we pack up, we travel Monday, we back open on Tuesday, 8 show week, like
Mhm.
crazy. And to have that all taken from you, it's like, well then not only what do I do now, but who am I now? And
Mm-hmm.
discovering who, you want to be, and what legacy you want to leave. Even, and that doesn't have to be performance wise. Like you can do so much as just being who you are as a human. And if that human being within yourself is both the performer and who you are, or if they're separate, but just taking that time to discover what that means to you. That's what I've been doing, like just discovering what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So It's been interesting.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Right.
to piggyback kind of off all of that, it's interesting. I find what Bria said to be so true about just trying to figure out how to be a human. I think that the trick in theater is you start to identify yourself by the show that you're in.
Mm.
Mm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Thank you
Mhm.
for
you
saying that.
identify
Thank you.
you identify your your worth based on the position you are in that season.
Mm.
So it's like
Mm.
every time you're introducing yourself, you got to say what show you're in. Or every
Mm.
time somebody's talking about you, they put in a show at the back. Or Krystal, she in Hamilton. Bria,
Mhm.
Mhm.
she in Mean Girls. Leandra, she not doing nothing right now, but she was in, it's all
Mhm.
of that, it's always
Mhm.
connected and you find yourself falling into a trap because it's hard in the industry. It makes you think because you're not in a show, you're not doing this, you're not enough. You get into that pattern.
Mm.
And
Mm.
so with COVID, it stripped away this nonsense of like a show makes you who you are, when actually
Mm.
what you
Yeah.
Mhm.
do in the silent places makes you who you are. It's
Mm.
just what people put
Ooh.
on you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it's so like I hear Bria like 100 and I hear Brenda. It's like what makes Brenda Brenda actually is that Brenda is a show girl for Brenda.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm.
Brenda's not a show girl for everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
why it's authentic. That's why Miss Brenda is Lady Brenda Braxton. That's why Miss Brenda is,
Mhm.
hosting the show.
But it took
That's
time. It took time. It definitely took time to get to that point. So the journey that you ladies are on right now, you will get to that point. So you don't even have to worry about it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like Bria said, you just need to sit in your quiet time and decide, okay, no, my show doesn't define me. I'm okay with just
Mhm.
being who I am. And if it happens
Mhm.
to be that I am this performing person, I like that. I don't mind that. It took me a long, long time because people would say to me, "Oh, but you got to wear lashes all the time. Oh, you got to do your nails to go grocery shopping. Or you got to." And I'm like, "Yes, I do. Now what?
Mhm.
So what? Now what?
Yep.
Okay."
Mhm.
And I'm
Work,
okay with
Brenda.
that because when I come home,
Mhm.
that's who I am too. That you know what I'm saying? I am
Mhm.
this 24/7. This is who I am, and it took me a minute to get to that, and it's okay.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think in this quarantine time, I'm finding like I want to identify as who Leandra is based on what Leandra does in her quiet moments.
Yeah.
Like how
Mm.
Mhm.
intelligent is sis when sis is, like I don't want to have to post on Instagram I read 100 books this year. That's just the knowledge that
Right.
I have in me.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
like those kind of things. And so I feel like this pivot of quarantine has helped like uh take off the mask that we
Mhm.
find ourselves wearing in the industry in front of people
Mhm.
constantly. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's hard to keep it up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If it's a
Mhm.
mask, definitely it's hard to keep it up. Yep.
Yeah, but
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
if it's you though, it's easy. If it's you naturally, it's fine. And not that I didn't find moments like that in theater. I think
Mhm.
me in a theater, me being giddy and funny, like that actually is me. But
Mhm.
I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lie and say that some of those moments weren't forced because I knew that's how I had to be in that environment for everybody else.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's so
Mm.
real.
Let's
Mhm.
talk about that though.
Mhm.
That is
Yes.
real, Leandra. Like
Yeah.
realizing the moments that weren't real, that I had to put this on to make everybody else in the room feel comfortable because
Yep.
I might have
Mhm.
been the only black woman or one of a few black women. So I have to, okay, let's figure this out. What do I have to put on? What mask do I have to put on right now to make other people feel comfortable?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Ayana, that's just so what like that last part there. Like I'm on the ride with everything everybody's saying, but like making other people feel comfortable.
Hmm.
That is something that this quiet time, the quarantine, not performing, and actually doing after midnight, of course, with y'all, it made me realize how often I was trying to make other people comfortable.
Mhm.
And yeah, figuring out myself what I really want to say or what I really want to do,
Mhm.
not what's going to be the most acceptable thing in the room. That's
Mhm.
not going to make me crazy or angry or
Mhm.
outraged. That's actually something that I've been sitting with recently, and it's really strange. I didn't think that I had that kind of, because I am usually really happy and cheerful and giddy, but I I hate to like even put it there, but like a sadness has creeped in that I actually kind of like because it's a facet of me I didn't realize I had.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
the
Mm,
outrage of the
mhm,
time, let's be honest, like what's been going on has brought me to a place where I'm like, really?
Mhm.
mhm,
Have we not been quiet enough? Have we not been put down enough? Have I not worn enough of a mask for you to not accept me at this
Mhm.
point? And now I feel like the mask is kind of crumbling for everybody, which is kind of fantastic. It's not kind of, it is. It's great that we're getting to be real.
and that's the thing, it's like, you will never please everyone,
Mm.
and it's not your job to make everybody comfortable all the time.
Mhm.
So, I think being the realist, being the most yourself, especially, I mean, nobody's saying be nasty because people don't want nasty people to work with, but knowing that if you have something to say it in a way that, um can be heard and can be received even if people don't agree. And that's just like a balance. It's just trying to find how far do you go and be yourself and be 100% real without having to like pretend like everything is one way just to make someone else feel better.
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
I think
Right.
once you find your authentic self, once you find
Mm,
the person that you can sit home and say, you know what, I like you. It
mhm.
Mm.
doesn't matter what everyone else thinks about you because when you show up as your authentic self, your authentic happy self, your authentic grounded self, they'll get it. They'll get it. You won't have to
Mhm.
prove anything to anybody. You show up who
Mhm.
you are authentically. And I
Mhm.
found that I just found that out maybe 10 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, that
Mm,
I have to show up as Brenda. Just this is who I am. Whoever's going to like me will like me. Whoever's not going to like me, they won't like me. I'm not trying to make anybody like me, but I am very happy with who I am. I'm not a nasty person, but I won't let you get away with stuff. I try
mhm.
to be fair. I
Mhm.
try to be spiritually grounded and authentic. That's all you can do is be your authentic self.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And that actually leads me to a wrap up question. I'm going to go to each and every one of you. It's a twofold question, but I will get um, your answers to this. And so, Brenda, you saying being authentic. My next question is, what piece of advice would you have for performers or just artists in general? And honestly, let's be very specific about Black women who are artists.
Mm.
And then, what is one thing that you hope the industry itself learns from this time? And so I'm going to start with Brenda on this.
I can only speak for really how I feel right now. I feel like if we can stop identifying ourselves as Black women in theater and just be the artist, yes, there's a lot of noise around us about Black, Black this and Black that. Yes. But I think we first need to take it from the point of I'm an actor, I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, or actor, singer, dancer, or whatever. I'm a performer, and I am just as good as anybody else, no matter what color they are,
Mm,
what nationality they are. I'm just as good as anybody else because I feel like sometimes we get stuck in that ourselves get stuck in that stigma of I'm a Black woman on Broadway, I'm a Black woman, and yes, it is constantly in your face, but it's what you also hold in your mind and in your spirit. So yeah,
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
showing up as a Black woman.
Mhm.
That's what we are, no matter what. You
mhm.
look at us, yo, that's a Black woman. Okay. But if
Mhm.
you concentrate more on your artistry instead of getting stuck with I'm a Black woman trying to get this done. I think that's number one. What was the second part, Ayana?
It was just a word of advice to,
Oh, a word of
performers
advice.
and artists. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now this is something that that Vanessa Carroll used to say to us all the time, and it's true in theater life, but I find it true in just regular life. Do not be seduced or reduced by the audience. Meaning that
Mm.
when you're
Mhm.
Mhm.
performing, you know what you can do. When you're living, you know who you are. No one coming into your world, into your sphere, should make you feel less than reduced Or you should not be seduced by, oh, you're fabulous. You're good. Oh, girl, you are so fit. This thing, you are so good. You should not be seduced by all of that either. So if you keep that in
Mhm.
mind, do not be seduced or reduced by the audience, or seduced or reduced by people in life.
Period.
Period.
No.
Yeah.
Period. That's
You
it.
know
Period.
who you are. Once you figure out who you are, don't let people, try to say, oh, you are so fierce, girl, and try and get into your sphere. Or,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
what are you doing? I don't know. Oh, okay. Well, if that's the way you want to do it. Nope. Mm-mm. Yeah, this is who I am, boo. Okay. Love you. And if you have to walk
Oh,
away, walk away. But don't let anyone
mm-hmm.
steal your joy of your life, of your livelihood, or
Hmm.
who you are. Period. Done
Mm-hmm.
deal. Whether it's show business, men, boyfriends, little baby animals, whatever. No, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh God.
All right. She said that's her story. She's sticking to
Sticking
it.
to it.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, then next, Bria, I'm going to ask you the same questions. What do you hope is something the industry learns, and what piece of advice, if you have any, that you would give to other artists?
Um, in terms of what I would like to see is, I guess kind of like going off of a little bit off of what Brenda said. This idea of you know of blackness just being the most important thing at the forefront of who we are as artists and performers. I think because it is talked about so much, it's highlighted, and instead of just only, because I think that that's very important, and that's how I walk through life. It's like I am a black woman, but like outside of that, I want to see us like reflected on television or on stage the way I see us in life. So it's like I think that not I think I know for a fact it's like we are a lot of times typecast. It's like this is what you can and will do because it's period appropriate or it goes with, who you are, what you look like, XYZ. I'm tired of that. Like I want to see people who look like me being doctors, being lawyers, being everything, being a princess. Like I it's time, and I'm ready for us to return to just a more colorful world on television and on the stage. So a lot of theaters and a lot of casting directors are talking about what they're going to do, and the whole Black Lives Matters. I want to see the work. I just want to see the work, and I want to see the consistency, and I want to see the accountability. So that's what I'm looking forward to when I return. And then in terms of advice, um, I I live by this and I stick by it, and I just think that it's important to ask questions, to never be scared to ask questions, and to learn, and to just remain humble because you're always teachable. I don't care how old you are, how long you've been in the business, how young you are,
Mm-mm.
things you've done,
Mhm.
things you didn't do. Like my entire career has been asking questions. Like a lot of times I don't know what I'm doing. I never thought that I would be here. Never, never. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm not scared to ask questions. Even if all the other girls in the dressing room are laughing at me, I don't care. I'm going to ask the question because I want to know what I'm doing. I want to feel comfortable and I want to be the best at my job, at least the best that I can be. So just always ask questions, and it's okay not to be the smartest gal in the room, and that is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Bria. And I'm going to ask these same questions to Krystal.
Um, I think one thing that I would advise to give to take away, just take it day by day. And I know when this quarantine first happened, I was like, oh my God. Like I think Iman said this, no one thought it was gonna be as long as it is. Everyone was thinking, oh, 2 weeks, a month, we'll be back. So I'm like, great, I need to work out every day, eat right, boom, boom, boom. And I burnt out very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been hard, and I'm constantly thinking, I think the first notice we got, as far as like when to return, it was like, oh, we'll return in March, then it was June, now it's God knows when, and it's like my mind at first was like, okay, I can make it until March, I can make it until then, and now it's like let me just stop thinking about the months ahead and think about today. Krystal, what do you want to do today? What are your goals that you want to check off your list today? Is it just watching Netflix? Then be okay with that. Is it, catching up on your show? Be okay with that. Is it taking a class? And then you want to do a lot of other stuff after that? Then okay. But like go with day by day, minute by minute. We can't control what happens tomorrow. We can only control the present right now. And I
Mhm.
think that's been helping me because it was getting really hard. And, I was talking to Lee and a few of my other friends and just like saying, like, I don't know if I can, like, I don't know how to get through this. And in a sense, no one does. Like, we've never done this.
Mhm.
So it's been just really hard. And I've just been telling myself day by day, Krystal, what do you want to do today? And what's going to make you happy today? So if that works for you, then I give that to you as well. Something that I hope, that the industry can learn from this, I would love to see, as Bria said, I would love to see Black women be represented the way we should, but I also want to see it behind the stage. I want to see, company managers look like us. I
Yeah.
want to
Mhm.
see people call, lighting designers look like us. Stage managers, because they're out there. One of my
Mhm.
good friends is a lighting designer. They're out there. I don't want to hear, oh, they're hard to find. They're not. They're out there and they're qualified. Honestly, some more uh people of color than the ones you have.
Mhm.
So it's like, give us the opportunities, give us the chances to be in these rooms and make these decisions. I don't want to hear, oh, they're hard to find, because they're not. We're out there, we exist. The same way y'all be so quick to find your token Black girl or Black boy when you need them for the play or the show. You can find those company managers and those lighting designers and those stage managers and the people and those casting directors. They're out there. So that's what I want to see. I want to see that. And I want to see them, like, everyone is committing to, oh, I commit and I sign this petition and do all of that. I want to see the work. Actions speak louder
Mhm.
than words, and that's what I want to see. I don't want to see, oh, I'm posting a Black square on my Instagram. I want we need to see the work.
Mhm.
So
Right.
that's what I want.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. And
Yeah.
now, Asha, I'm going to ask you those questions as well.
Um, I just want to see a little bit more humanity in the
Mhm.
industry.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
often I mean, cattle call basically sums it up. You're just a piece that fits into this puzzle exactly right and just so. And, you know, I I think art has been pushing boundaries. They've been trying to make things more colorful, but then sometimes I'm like, but do you know why you're doing that?
Mm.
Why are you
Mhm.
doing that?
Mhm.
Is it because for a human reason or because it's what sells right now? I don't know. So I'm hoping that we can get past, actually, maybe to go more towards what Miss Brenda said, past the color issue, to just find the artist that fits right and promote them to be an artist. That's what I want the industry to do, to just find artists, and the colors don't even matter. Like true color blindness would be wonderful if we could actually achieve that from what we're going through right now. That would be amazing. Um, and advice to other other people, other artists: affirm yourself. Like I'm very much so like it's been so hard. Like what Krystal said, it's just you know I took for granted that I was working pretty consistently. I was so happy. I was like really, really lucky. And now sitting in this place where I'm not sure about Asha, the performer, versus Asha, the person. I'm still trying to figure it out, and I'm learning every day what that means. And something that I do know is that I need to affirm myself. I'm trying to take that advice where like if it means you have to tell yourself a little lie to get to, what is it, fake it till you make it. Like if you have to tell yourself a little lie to make sure that you know how correct you actually are. um like don't ever let yourself down. Like that's what I truly mean. Every time you're like maybe not, maybe a little, iffy about what your actual choice is, just knowing that you're great, that you will accomplish it, that you will do it, putting that out into the universe, putting that into yourself, promoting that you are worthy of everything the world has to offer. That is what I actually do want to give as advice to everyone, because it's the truth. Everyone deserves and will not be passed up on what you actually are meant for. So just keep affirming yourself and believing in yourself.
Mm. Thank you, Asha.
Mhm.
Thank you. That was beautiful. And I'm going to go to Iman now.
Yeah, I'll start with some advice is to just find all the things that you love to do and make them happen because we've all spoken about just like feeling weird outside of the stage space and the performance space, and sometimes you forget that there are other things that you like to do and that you do well. And I think sometimes in theater or, who's doing what show, who's not in this show, who's auditioning, who's not, you get like lost in that and you're like, "Oh wait, I also can do A, B, and C." And I love doing A, B, and C. So I think having downtime, having those in between times, it's nice to just kind of hone in on that and figure those things out because what I've realized during this quarantine is I don't want my life to actually be on hold. I'm fine with taking a step back, but holding and waiting for something that is so vague right now is something that I guess I'm not ready to do. So finding the other things that fill your joy, fill your heart, fill your love, like those are things that I think young artists also need to find because then it just gives you a sense of purpose, and I think it's easy to lose that sense when you're not in a show, but if you have those other activities or hobbies or other jobs that you love to do, then you kind of can complete, that void, if that makes any sense. Maybe I just rambled, but yeah,
Mhm.
that's just a little advice to just find the other things, find the other. And I guess piggybacking off of everyone and just having more inclusion in shows and um even in commercial world and print world and seeing I love the direction we're going with seeing more body types and more skin colors and stuff and I think that we need to move more in that direction because there is not one way a woman looks. There's not one way a
Mhm.
man looks. There's not one way a child looks. And just kind of having all of that represented is what we need to see because thinking about like this is so random, but looking in a magazine, I'm like, oh, I like those jeans. Oh, she looks nothing like me. Are they going to fit me? But if you
Mhm.
have people that look like
Mm,
a regular person, then I'm like, oh, shoot, you know what? Like, I could see myself in that. So just inclusion across the board is just something to see in the performance, commercial, print world of, entertainment.
right, right. So full inclusion. Yes. Thank you for that. And
Mm.
Leandra, I'm going to ask you these same questions.
Yeah. I second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, everything these ladies have said is so it's so powerful. It's so powerful. As terms to it comes to the industry, I like they said, I want to see if it happens. If the change they say is gonna happen, I want to see it, you know?
Hmm.
I want to see the call to action. Also, I think I have hope in the industry still. And so because I still have hope, not that the systems before were so flawed. And I think this time has made us look at it that way and realize like we were victims of the system.
Hmm.
And so I'm interested actually in how do we as humans or performers go about ourselves in the industry.
Hmm.
Um I'm actually more interested in that because I don't think the industry will change unless the change that, these casting companies say, actually, that has to happen with us, the human, because the problem is the people accepting those jobs they shouldn't take.
Mm,
The size
yes.
2 model should have said, no, I don't think I should take this Target commercial when the size 14 model I know also is out there. So
Mm.
I'm interested in that part of the industry actually, because that's the only
Hmm.
way I think it can change is if these people or these actresses come up and say, no, I want the money, but I know money's always going to come to me. But I think there's a Black person or a person of color who can play this role just as well as me, you know? And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in that part of it. And when it comes to advice, I would say to women out there, do not be afraid to throw paint at the wall. Do not be afraid to just have fun and to play. I think we forget that a lot of our profession started as a hobby and started as something we just love to do. And I think we get so wrapped up in the games that we now forget that, like, Leandra, just like to sing sometimes. And what happens when I'm just having fun? So I would just say, do not forget to have fun. Do not forget that you are a living, breathing human and you are not a robot. You do not have to be perfect all the time. It's okay to throw paint at the wall and see what kind of art you make like that. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Lee. That was beautiful. Thank you all for those answers. My soul is filled right now from all of you and all of your wisdom and words and graciousness. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for joining me, taking time out of your busy days to hop on this microphone and have this little reunion. It has been amazing to hear all of your voices and, like I said, all of your opinions and your wisdom. And before I let you go, there is something that I must say to you. So to Asha, to Krystal, to Bria, to Iman, to Brenda, to Leandra, and to Shari, I acknowledge you, I celebrate you, and I uplift you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Love
thank
you.
I
you.
love you
Thank
all
You're
so
welcome.
you.
much.
Love you
I love you
all.
Love you,
too.
Ayana.
I love you too. I love you all. Thank you. And that, as you heard, it got me really choked up. I wasn't even expecting that to happen.
Girl, I got tears in my eyes. I'm not okay. Well, yes, I'm okay with it because like seriously, I just it's
And
one of
I
those
mean
times.
that. It
Yeah.
is.
And
And
thank
I
you
mean
for
that.
this platform. I mean, to have
Seriously.
us, do this. You said take time out of our busy schedule. Girl, I wasn't doing anything. I was so looking forward to this. I couldn't wait. I was like,
I
yes.
know.
So thank you. Thank you.
You're
Well, thank
welcome.
you so
You're
much,
welcome.
Ayana, for inviting us
Yeah.
Yeah.
just to talk and catch up and, like just discuss the things that we've all been thinking?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
hearing everybody's voice. My God, you guys do not know what it's doing for me to hear each and every one of you talk.
Oh,
Like, I
sweet.
just
Oh,
love
it's
the
been
sound of
so
all of your voices.
long. Yeah.
You're doing a powerful
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
Ayana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep up the
Yeah.
good
Thank you.
work.
Thank you. Thank you. And I just got a text from Brenda. She said she hit something. Now she's gone.
Oh,
Well,
Lord.
Brenda, I know you're not in the
No.
recording still, but I think you can hear me. If not, I will text you in a second. But thank you, ladies, so much. Thank
I'm
you.
back.
Yay!
Oh, you're back. Brenda's back. She's back.
I'm
We
back.
got her.
See, I knew people
Brenda's back.
stuff. Okay.
Oh, you're back. Oh, but I was just saying thank you so much for joining me, and
Of course.
thank you, ladies, so much.
This was
Yes,
fun.
Thank you.
it
Yeah.
was. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Love you all.
Yes,
Love
Love
I
you,
love
love you
you all. I
guys.
love you all. I
Love
love you
Love
you.
so much.
you guys.
The Real Housewives of After Midnight 3.0.
Yes,
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
what?
yes, yes.
Oh.
Wow. Ladies, thank you so much. Thank you, Brenda, Leandra, Asha, Krystal, Iman, and Bria. Thank you. Your words of wisdom are so valuable. Thank you for sharing your pivots, stories, and revelations. It really is something else when you get to have a conversation such as the one we had and truly feel fulfilled after it. I hope that anyone listening is reminded that you are enough, that you should live fully in who you are, and that it's more than okay to sit in stillness and silence. This podcast has been such a journey, and I want to thank you for joining me on it. As I wrap up season 1, I want to thank you for the emails, Facebook messages, and Instagram comments and DMs that connected us even more. I want to wish everyone happy holidays and a happy new year. Thank you again, Brenda, Leandra, Asha, Krystal, Iman, Bria, and I want to thank you for tuning in. I'll speak to you in 2021.